sitting on your heels, if you want to use the block, you would plant the block between your calves, and then you would sit, or between your feet, and you would sit on the block. And usually that's a little bit more gentle on the knees, but it does require quite a bit of flexion at your knees. You can always make it a bit higher, so a pillow on the block and on your calves, or a stack of blocks also can be a good idea. Okay, if you are comfortable sitting on your heels and you don't need the block, feel free to do that. If there's no way that sitting on your heels, that your knees are comfortable in this position, then a cross-legged seat will be great too. And if you're doing a cross-legged seat, you could also sit on a pillow or sit on your block. Okay. So wherever you've chosen to be, make sure that your shoulders are more or less in line with your hips, and then your hands can rest on your thighs. Now we're just going to close eyes for a few breaths here, taking a few inhales and exhales, and just noticing where we're at, making that transition from the outside to more of the inner scape. And as always, just noticing whatever you notice, no rights or wrongs and no goods or bads, as best you can. Try to stir away from these kind of judgments, and then see if you can accept what is for what it is. And if you haven't already, begin to breathe a bit more through the nose. And you might begin to emphasize a bit more that length through your spine as you breathe in, as if you were building some space between vertebrae. And then as you breathe out, trying to keep some of that space and engaging through that lower belly to support the posture and the length that you just created. And wherever you are, any part of your legs that is in touch with ground, rather than collapsing the weight into it, see if you can engage a bit more and push through those areas of the body. So a bit of a push towards the ground, as if you were trying to lift up, but you don't lift completely. And let's take about 5 more cycles of breath. And then let's use the next inhale to circle those arms wide and overhead. And then on your exhale, lower your left hand down by your side. It might touch the ground, and then reach up and over with your right. And then give a little push through that left side, left hand. And then as you inhale, return through center, reaching your arms tall. And then your right hand will lower by your side, and then reach up and over with your left and give a little push through that right hand. And then bring yourself back through center on the inhale. And as you exhale, do that again. Left hand down, reaching up and over with your right. And inhale, returning through center. And then taking it over to the other side. Exhale. With your next inhale, come back through center. And then as you exhale, bring those hands behind you, interlace them at your lower back. Let's send those knuckles towards the floor as we lift through the chest. Breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. And then releasing those hands, reach them all the way up towards the ceiling, and then bend your left elbow, drop your left hand behind the head, and use your right hand to draw that elbow in towards your head. So you're getting a stretch through the triceps and through the armpit. And then the left side of the rib cage might also get a nice stretch here. Take a full breath in and take a full breath out. And then reaching those arms towards the ceiling once again. Inhale. And then as you exhale, your right elbow bends. The left hand is drawing that right elbow towards the head. And then a little resistance, the head pushes back into that right arm. Breath in, right side of the body, of the torso stretches. Breath out, belly to spine. As you inhale, reach both arms towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, your right hand is going to come behind you. Your left hand is going to cross over. We are twisting towards the right. Keep your spine tall, breathing in and breathing out. As you inhale, return through center, both arms towards the ceiling. And then on your exhale, left hand behind you, right hand crosses over, and you're turning towards the left side. Spine long, breath in, and breath out. With your next inhale, returning through center, reaching your arms towards the ceiling. And now as you exhale, we're going to bend both elbows and see if you can hold on to opposite elbows. And if opposite elbow is not available, hold on to forearm or even to wrist. But you want to have some tension here in your arms. And I'll face the screen for a moment, see if that's a bit clearer. So I'm really pulling on my elbows in opposite directions. And then you should feel a stretch through those armpits, through that upper torso and back body. And we're going to take a full breath in. And then take this into a side stretch. As you exhale, lean over towards your right side. Push your left ribs towards the left. And don't worry about how far you go. Keep your back body kind of all in the same plane. So shoulders are still aligned. Breath in. And breath out. And then come back through center, and let's take it over to the other side. So leaning over towards the left side, the right side of that torso stretches, and you keep pulling on those elbows or those forearms. Breath in and breath out. As you inhale, returning through center, reach those arms towards the ceiling. And then on your exhale, interlace those fingers, turn the palms up and push those palms away. Take a full breath in and exhale, round your spine. So the palms are going to go forward and you're pushing that back body back, chin towards your chest, belly draws to spine. Let's inhale, lengthen those arms up, reach. Maybe your gaze lifts too. Exhale and round, belly to spine. One more time like that. Breath in, lengthen up. And breath out and round. Now with your next inhale, release those hands. Reach your hands behind you and find the opposite interlace of those fingers. Once again, interlace them and send the knuckles down as you open up the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades, full breath in. And full breath. With your next inhale, release your hands, reach your arms up, and on your exhale, right arm down, side stretch. Reach up and over. Inhale, back through center. Now on your exhale, we are twisting. Left hand behind you, right hand crosses over. Pause, breath in, and breath out. Inhale, back through center, arms lift. Exhale, left arm down, side stretch, right side stretch. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, right hand behind you, left hand crosses over and twisting towards the right side. Breathing in and breathing out. With your next inhale, back through center, reaching those arms up. And now as you exhale, bring those hands in front of you and make your way into a table pose. So if you have the block, maybe move it out of the way for now. And then your hands are going to be under your shoulders, your knees are going to be under your hips. And then finding some cows and cats as you drop the belly and lift the chest, inhale. And then round the spine, exhale. And then add the feet. So as you inhale, drop the belly, bring the chest forward, tuck your toes and give the soles of the feet a stretch. And then on your exhale, untuck the toes, rounding spine, chin to chest. And a couple more times at your own pace. And one more inhale. And rounded spine as you exhale. And then finding a neutral spine, we're keeping those knees and those hips in line, but we're beginning to walk those hands wide and forward. Lowering the chest towards the ground, maybe your forearms lower to the ground too. Keep lifting your sit bones here. Imagine the center of the chest heavy and is dropping down, the head also dropping towards the floor. Full breath in and full breath out. One more inhale and exhale. And then with your next inhale, come all the way onto your belly. And we're coming into Cobra. So your hands are going to come under your shoulders, your elbows close to the rib cage, your legs along behind you. And now before you do anything else, make a point of engaging through your legs. Squeeze the glutes, press the tops of the feet down. Little weight into your hands. And as you inhale, just lift the chest, and it doesn't have to be very high. And then as you exhale, lower. And again, inhale and lift. Try not to rely too much on your hands. Exhale and lower. And one more. Inhale and lift. And on your exhale, lengthen forward and down and lower. Bring the forearms in front of you and rest your head on your forearms. Relax your legs and take a full breath in. And take a full breath out. With your next inhale, extend arms and legs out. So arms go out in front of you, legs are out behind you. And then inhale, lift the right arm and the left leg towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lower. Switch. Left arm, right leg, lift. Exhale and lower. Again, right arm, left leg, inhale. Exhale, lower. And one more time, switch, inhale. And exhale to lower. Bring those hands under your shoulders. Move through all fours. And then make your way into downward facing dog. Lift those sit bones up and back. Press those heels down towards the ground. And maybe find a bit of movement here. Maybe your gaze goes from side to side. There's some movement through your neck. Some movement through your legs. Full breath in. And full breath out. One more inhale and exhale. With your next inhale, walk your hands towards your feet. So you're coming to the back of the mat and then find a forward fold here. We're going to hold on to opposite elbows. Take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, bend into your right knee and straighten out your left leg. Push down through your left heel and lift through your left sit bone. And then inhale, straighten right knee, bend into your left, and then get that hamstring stretch on the right side. And then switch, bend into your right knee, straighten the left. And one more time, switch, right hamstring stretch. And then bend into both knees. See if you can keep your hands on your elbows or your forearms. And we're coming into a chair pose. Bend deeper and lift the torso. Arms maybe lift overhead some. And again, you could grab onto the forearms if the elbows is too narrow. Keep sitting down into your chair pose. Take a full breath in. And take a full breath out. With your next inhale, push the floor away, straighten legs, reach your arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, right arm down, side stretch. Left side of the body gets the stretch. Come back through center on the inhale and take it all the way to the other side as you exhale. Back through center on the inhale and arms wide, we're folding forward, exhale. On your inhale, walk your hands forward, come all the way into a plank pose. And then let's find a little movement here in plank. Feel free to lower your knees at any point. So we're just going to shift a bit from side to side, forward and back. Maybe a little circling on those wrists and on those toes. And if you're doing those circles, find the opposite direction. And then eventually find more of a still plank pose. Take a full breath in, draw belly to spine, and push the floor away with your hands. And then as you exhale, lift your sit bones up and back and come into your downward facing dog. Relax the head, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. With your next inhale, walk your feet towards your hands. So now coming to the top of the mat and finding a forward fold here. So here, left hand, see if you can plant it on the ground, or you could use your block and plant it on the block. And we're going to go into that hamstring stretch, but with a twist. So your left knee is going to bend, and you're going to turn towards the right arm towards the ceiling as your right leg straightens out. Pause here, breath in and breath out. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, switch. Right hand is going to lower, plant it, bend into your right knee, straighten the left, and open up towards the left into your twist, reaching the left arm towards the ceiling. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's do it one more time each side. Left hand lowers, switch, right arm towards the ceiling, left knee bends. Inhale. Exhale, right arm lowers, hand plants, left arm towards ceiling, right knee bends. Inhale. And exhale, come back through center. Hold on to opposite elbows, take a full breath in and a full breath out. With your next inhale, back into chair pose, bend into those knees. See if you can keep your hands on your elbows and lift those arms overhead. So quite a shoulder stretch here. Draw the belly to spine, maybe sit down a little lower, weight into your heels, breathing in and breathing out. Push the floor away on your inhale, straighten out those legs, reach your arms up. Exhale, left arm down, side stretch. Back through center, inhale, and over to the other side as you exhale. Back through center, inhale, folding forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale, planting your hands, step your feet back, downward facing dog, exhale. On your inhale, roll out into a plank pose. And as you exhale, move back into downward facing dog. Let's do two more like that. Breath in, coming forward. Breath out and moving back. One more time. Inhale. And downward facing dog on your exhale. Take another full breath in. And with your exhale, step or hop feet towards your hands. So if you're taking a hop, bend into your knees, look forward, and then lightly bring your feet forward. Halfway lift on the inhale, and as you exhale, fold. Coming up, hands to your hips, a little bend in those knees, chin to your chest, and vertebra stacking over vertebra as you make your way up. Releasing those arms by your side, and you're in your mountain pose at the top of the mat. Okay, so let's do a few sun salutations. I'll guide through a few variations. You're always welcome to use the one that works best for you or you feel like doing. Okay. So we'll do a few. Let's see. Inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, folding forward. Inhale for a halfway lift, lengthening spine. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take an inhale, lift your heels. As you exhale, lower your knees, come into all fours. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, coming into cow pose. As you exhale, downward facing dog. On your inhale, step your feet forward to the top of the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising up, do it safely, whatever rising up works for you. Exhale, mountain pose, hands can rest at heart. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting heels. Exhale, lower knees. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. You could do the table pose version, or on your inhale, come out into plank. As you exhale, knees lower, lower chest. Inhale, open into Cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to heart, mountain pose. Again, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, coming out into plank. Exhale to lower, maybe knees stay lifted. Inhale, Cobra or upward facing dog, opening chest. Exhale, return, downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to heart, mountain pose. Another inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Step it back, downward facing dog, exhale. Coming forward, inhale. Lowering, exhale. Opening up, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Stepping forward, inhale. Folding, exhale. All the way up, inhale. Mountain pose, exhale. So let's do 5, our own pace, our own version. Okay, I'll try to keep track more or less. So inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So I won't guide breath now. You're with your own breath, your own practice. And stay true to you. Let's find a couple more cycles. Again, staying with your breath. And with no rush, the next time that you find yourself in mountain pose, give yourself a moment there, pause. Maybe with eyes closed. And just notice whatever you notice, some heat in the body maybe, a little faster heartbeat. And then not only that physicality, but maybe anything else mentally. Maybe you wanted this to continue and you would have liked to do a few more. Notice if there's some attachment to that. Notice if there was any judgment about how you did, in quotes. Let's take 3 more breaths. And then if your eyes were closed, let's open them, looking forward, reach your arms overhead. And then again on the exhale, bend your left elbow, let your left hand drop behind the head, and give your triceps, your armpit a stretch. Right hand is going to pull that elbow in. Take a full breath in, and take a full breath out. And then reach both arms again towards the ceiling and switch. Right elbow bends, and your left hand draws that elbow in. Breath in and breath out. And then reach both arms towards the ceiling on the inhale. And as you exhale with your arms wide, fold all the way down. Inhale into a halfway lift. And exhale, plant your hands and step your feet back, downward facing dog. Take a pause, breathe in and breathe out. And then from here, let's shorten our down dog. So step your feet a little forward and then wide. Bring them to the edges of your mat. And then from here, see if you can bring your right hand underneath you across the body and grab a hold of any part of your left leg. So maybe shin, maybe around your ankle. And then give yourself a pull here. So pull the torso towards that left thigh. And then send your hips slightly towards the right. Breath in, stay strong through the left hand. Breath out. Maybe your head can dangle and you can relax the neck. Maybe you're looking up towards the ceiling. Another breath. And then release your right hand, plant it where it came from. And same thing now with the left. Left hand is going to cross over underneath you. Grab a hold of that right leg. Pull yourself towards that right thigh. And then send your hips slightly towards the left. Push down through that right hand. Maybe you're looking up towards the ceiling. Breathe in and breathe out. And then releasing, left hand comes where it came from. And now walk your hands towards your feet. Come into a forward fold with your legs in the same position, the big toes slightly towards one another, so your heels slightly out. And then see if you can wrap your arms behind the legs. So you might not reach for those hands. You might just grab the backs of your legs. If you can reach for the opposite hand or opposite wrist, then push the legs into your arms as you fold. So you're activating through the outer part of your hips some too. Relax through the neck, breath in and breath out. And then release any bind that you have with your hands. Bring those hands forward. And then from here, bring your heels in and toes out. We're coming into a squat. So we're going to lower those sit bones towards the heels, any amount. So depending on where you're at, your hands will stay on the ground, or you might grab your block and plant your block, and that will give you a bit more lift. Some of you might have your heels lifted, so it's a bit more of a balance challenge here. So again, hands on the mat or on a block will be helpful. Wherever you are, see if you can send a bit more weight into your pinky toes. And then see, those of you that don't need to plant the hands, see if you can lift your spine. So think about your tailbone slightly tucking, okay, and broadening through your chest. If your elbows to the insides of your knees, you can use your elbows to push your knees out some. Take a full breath in. And take a full breath out. Shoulders down the back. Spine is long. Another inhale. And another exhale. Now from here, we're going to rise up. So push into those feet. Reach your arms overhead and rise all the way up to stand. Bring your feet once again parallel. And then as you exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, walk your hands forward, coming out into a plank pose with those feet wide. You're on the balls of the feet. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, side plank. So a couple options. Feet stay wide and you're coming onto the edges of the feet. Toes turn towards the left. Maybe you stay with the left hand down, or the left hand comes to your hip, or the left arm goes all the way up towards the ceiling. Full breath in. And full breath out. From here, return hand to the ground if it wasn't there, and then lift your heels and do the same thing to the other side. So let those heels drop towards the left, and then you might stay. Keep lifting your hips. You might lift your right hand to your hip, or you might lift that right arm towards the ceiling. Keep lifting those hips, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale. And as you exhale, right hand returns to the mat. If it wasn't there already, lift those heels and then lower your knees to the mat. Bring the big toes to touch and send your sit bones all the way to your heels. Reach your hands even further. So make it a bit more of an active child's pose through the upper part of your body. So you might be on your fingertips. Palms and elbows are lifted and you're reaching forward through those fingers. And then when you can't reach any further, give a little push through the fingers. So you're sinking your sit bones a bit more towards your heels. Take a breath. And then use your next exhale to soften your child's pose. So now your arms just drop towards the ground. If it feels good to bend the elbows, hold on to opposite elbows. Or any other position for your arms that feels good, find that. 3 cycles of breath. Maybe even some open mouth exhales. And then using your next inhale, coming all the way onto the belly. And once again, a little cobra work. So your hands under your shoulders, but this time we're going to try and not use the hands. So they're in this position, but we're just going to float them off the mat. So just like a centimeter off the mat. Your elbows are squeezing towards the back ribs, and then you're sending your elbows towards your hips. Lengthening crown of the head forward, and then engage through the legs and see if you can lift your torso. Breath in and breath out. Hands are not on the ground. It's just about that back body strength. Breathing in. And then on your exhale, release. Let's do 2 more. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower. And inhale, lift. Shoulder blades squeeze. And then on your exhale, lower everything down. Bring those forearms in front of you. Rest the forehead on those forearms and relax those legs. Heels out. Maybe wiggle the hips from side to side. Make sure that lower back feels okay. So there will be some sensation there, some compression, but make sure that resets. So a few cycles of breath, breathing into that belly, and then drawing the belly towards the spine will help to restore some space in that lower back. And again, breath in and breath out. And one more inhale and exhale. And then bringing those hands under your shoulders. This time we're going to use the hands. Actually, we're going to start not using the hands and then we'll use them. So I think that will also help make your cobra a little higher, or you might find a bit more stretch. So engage through your legs, press the tops of the feet down. Find again that cobra with the hands floating. Okay, so find that lift. Take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, plant your hands and then give a push through those hands and see if your cobra lifts a bit more. Elbows stay bent and close to the body, and the legs stay strong. The glutes are engaged. Take another breath. Inhale. And then on your exhale, lower forward and down. Now bring your right shoulder, your right arm out into a T. Turn your gaze to face the left. Left hand is by your face, and then roll onto the right side of the body. Bend your left knee. Left knee's pointing up, and then see if you can plant your left foot behind that right leg. Head is resting on the ground. So a stretch for the front of that right shoulder. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale and exhale. And then from here, come back onto the belly, and we'll do the same on the other side. So left arm is going to come out into a T, gaze turns towards the right, head is on the ground, roll onto the left side of the body, and then maybe bend that right knee and plant that right foot behind that left leg. Breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. And then let's return onto the belly. So option to do that same one again, or to do it with your elbow bent with a 90-degree angle. So it's more intense if you plant. So it will be the same thing, but palm is facing down and your elbow and shoulder are 90-degree angles, okay? So it's going to be more intense to roll over. So just be cautious and feel free to do the long arm again if that works best. Okay, so let's give it a try. Right arm out, 90-degree angles, left hand by the face, gaze to the left, and then roll over onto this right side. So notice it's a little bit more restricted here. Breathe in. Don't overdo it. Breathe out. One more inhale and exhale. And then coming back onto the belly, and then at your own time, switching sides, and again, try maybe the 90-degree angle, but don't overdo it. If it's too intense, arm lengthens. And rolling onto the left side. Make sure that the breath is happening. And then coming back onto that belly. And then once again, bringing those arms in front of us, hold on to opposite elbows, and then let your forehead rest on those forearms. And then let's lift the feet, and then just loosely let your feet drop from one side to the other. So they don't have to come by any means to the mat. They're just moving from one side to the other and releasing a little any, or releasing any tension from the lower back, the hips. And then let's bring those legs back through center, release them down, bring your hands under your shoulders and all the way into a child's pose. Once again, sit bones towards your heels, arms out in front of you. If you want, you can make this child's pose a bit more rounded, so your knees more like hip width, and then more of a rounded spine, and your arms could come by your side with your palms facing up. And your forehead might be pretty close to your knees. Allow that upper back to broaden. Another breath in. And another breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. And then bring those arms in front of you if they're not there already. And we're going to find one more stretch for that upper back. So it's the thread the needle, but instead of doing it from a table pose, we do it from or a child's pose or between a child's pose and a table pose, right? So your arms are coming out in front of you. And your right arm is just going to slide under the left. The palm is going to be facing up. And you could stay in your child's pose or you could come up a bit. Okay, right shoulder is going towards the ground. Head also towards the ground. And then reach your left fingers forward and away from you. Breathing in and breathing out. And then bring that right arm through, and then let's switch sides. Left arm is coming under the right. Turn your gaze to the right side. Your head turns to the right too. And then again, maybe in that more of a child's pose or with those sit bones a bit more lifted, walk your right fingers forward. So you also get a stretch through the right side of the torso. And take a few breaths here. And then unthreading that left arm, and then coming all the way up to stand onto your knees. Right? So from here, get your knees, hips, and shoulders in one line. And then you choose, you could do untucked toes, so tops of the feet to the mat, or you could tuck your toes and give also a stretch to the soles of the feet. So we're going to try to keep this plank pose through knees and shoulders. If you can, also head, but it's a bit more challenging. And then your arms can come out in front of you. It's like your counterweight. We're going to take a full breath in, lengthen up, and then on your exhale, we're going to lean back. Okay, so it's just that bend in the knees. We're not changing the rest. We're not going into a back bend and then come back up. And then again, exhale and take it back any amount and bring it back up. And one more time, exhale and go back and bring it back up. Nice job. And then from here, move your feet to the side and then or lowering your hand down or without your hands, see if you can lower your sit bones all the way to the mat. And then bring those legs in front of you. And then bring your feet wide. Your knees are going to go wide too. And then your hands are going to walk forward between your legs. You're not changing the position of your feet or your knees, and you're just rounding and lengthening, or lengthening and rounding the spine. Make it active first, and then see if you can let yourself relax here. Head drops, elbows are heavy. And you take a few deep breaths into that back body. Maybe even some open mouth exhales. So always taking advantage of the breath when we get ourselves in these different shapes, especially when it's a shape in which we want to relax in. We'll use the breath to emphasize the sensations, emphasize the stretch, emphasize the softening. And it takes time, right? Let yourself breathe. And sometimes we get eager to move between poses and we want the pose to work right away. Sometimes you need to stay in them so that they can, that it can give you what it has, what it can give you. One more breath. And then walk those fingers, those hands back towards you, slowly, gently lifting that spine. And let's make our way down onto our backs. However you want to get there, take your time. And then once your head reaches the ground, you can bring those knees into your chest. And maybe give yourself a little rock from side to side. And at the same time, a little movement through your neck. Restore some space in the back of the neck. Lengthen once again that spine. And then let's go into a happy baby. So drawing those knees towards the armpits. And then you could stay here with your knees bent and the heels dropping towards your glutes. Really good place to neutralize that back body. So you don't need to lift those feet if this is already helping that lower back get a bit closer to the ground, and if it's keeping that sacrum broad and down too, and shoulder blades also. Taking about 3 more cycles of breath. And then let's lower those feet to the mat. Bring them wide, knees are bent. And then on your exhale, let your knees drop towards the left side. Reach your arms out into a T. Get some space in the front of that right hip. And if you want to take it all the way up the right side of the torso, reach your right arm overhead by your ear, resting on the ground. You're getting this long line from the right fingers all the way to that right knee. Breath in and breath out. And then switching sides as you're ready. Bring those knees back through center. You might let them touch. Your feet are still wide. And then drop the knees towards the right side. And then getting maybe that stretch for the whole torso, left side. If you reach your left fingers above the head, but keep them resting on the ground. And as you're ready, coming back through center. And if there's any other movement that your body is calling for, make sure you attend to that. And then when you're ready, find some stillness. So for that, you want to be comfortable, so make sure that you are. And then allow the body to relax towards the ground. Let there be not doing or no doing at this point. All voluntary actions, taking a pause. And then rather than being the actor, making things happen, see if you can be the witness, just watching. And if you have the time and you want to, maybe you stay for a bit longer. If you're ready to move, gentle movement back into the body, moving in any way that feels right to you. Taking your time. Maybe coming onto one side of the body. And before rising up, taking a breath in. And then taking a long breath out. And then let's meet up in a comfortable seat. Hands resting on your lap, at your chest, lengthening that spine tall. Maybe with eyes closed, just taking this moment to acknowledge the practice, to acknowledge ourselves for practicing today, to acknowledge, as always, all those who practice with us at any time, and then acknowledging all those who made it possible. And we'll end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.